It's Ike Paz, and today I have a very special guest. I have today Kyle Stevens, a successful Amazon KDP low content and mid content book seller. He's actually assembled a team that helps him find these low competition keywords, these keywords with relatively high traffic, and he's selling this information on a monthly basis with his very own monthly report called Easy Puff Profits. I'll have information about it down below with bonuses. But first, I want to interview Kyle Stevens because yesterday I made a video on one of the keywords he talks about in his reports, and I found like 2 or 3 examples of a book that was published not even a week ago, and without any look inside tab, without any reviews, already making sales. I know this because it has a BSR under 3 different categories, which is powerful stuff. So Kyle Stevens, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I got these questions from my subscribers. I got some questions that repeat a lot that I want to ask, that I've amalgamized into a very concise little list of questions to help people out. We're going to talk about KDP advertising. We're going to talk about the niches we should be focusing on as newbies, all that good stuff. Is that cool?
Perfect. Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, beautiful. So first off, this is a question for me. If you can explain to the audience, what is Amazon KDP Publishing?
Yeah, so the way I think of it is there's like a bigger field of just print on demand. And for me, KDP is kind of like a subgenre of print on demand. So it's Kindle direct publishing. And print on demand more generally, people usually think of you print t-shirts, you print mugs, you print all these different things. And there's a lot of different places you can do that. Amazon merch, Redbubble, you could list a lot of them. The print on demand is just for books. It's the book version of print on demand. And it's really cool. The technology is really cool if you think about it, because you can put a book up for $7 or whatever, and it's not even made yet. And then Amazon will, if someone buys it, Amazon will print it on demand, and you can still make a profit at that I mean, the technology is pretty incredible, but that's what it is in a nutshell. It's just print on demand for books.
Yeah, and there's so many benefits there, Kyle. Like, you don't need your own website. The buyer traffic's already installed. You don't have to create a list or anything, which is, adds on to the pressure. But Amazon and these other sites like Redbubble, for example, like you mentioned, they take that away. It's just you and the buyer, which is a beautiful thing. Another thing is that Amazon, Redbubble, these other sites, your motivations are aligned. Amazon, Redbubble, they get a piece of you every time you sell. So you both want the same thing, which is really powerful stuff.
Right.
How did you start with KDP Publishing? Like personally, how did you get involved?
Yeah, personally, I'm actually pretty recent into this. It was a pandemic thing for me. So I was working a full-time job, which probably like a lot of people, I was let go, around March of 2020. And I've always been a side hustle kind of person. I think a lot of people are. I've been into building websites, and I've always been interested in that kind of thing. But I really got into KDP a lot in March 2020 when I lost my job, and I was just looking for a way to recoup some income. I have a family, so I couldn't go anywhere really, like a lot of people, and that's how I really got into it. And it went really fast because I spent a lot of time on it at the beginning.
You and I both families to support, and as you know, for Amazon KDP, I mean, it's kind of sad. It's good news, but it's also bad news. During this pandemic, it was boom times
Right.
for the KDP market. Cool. Why should folks want to sell books on Amazon?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, why should people want to sell books, and why should they want to do it on Amazon? To me, are 2 different questions. Why should you want to do it on Amazon? Because it's the biggest marketplace.
Great point.
Because you can also do print on demand with I can't even think what it's called now. The bookstore, Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble has a print on demand that you can do, but there's just not nearly as much volume, right? So that's why you should do it on Amazon. And then why should you do this specifically? I like it because, so compared to print on demand, for example, just t-shirts, that's a really low bar to entry. It's really easy to submit a design, and there's fast turnaround. It kind of rides on trends. I like books because it's a little bit higher bar to entry. It's still not difficult, but it's high enough bar that it's harder for someone to just flood it with designs like you could with t-shirts, because you have to make the cover and you have to make the interior. And with those 2 things that you have to do, and you have to Amazon isn't help you so much with formatting, so you have to format it correctly. And just that alone is enough of a hurdle for a lot of people just to not even try and give up. But it also is enough where you get to be really creative, which I personally like. And there's just so many more things you can do when you're making the interior and the cover. So for me, those are the reasons. And it doesn't cost you any money. You get to put a book up for free. What do you have to lose?
Exactly. Like you said, it's more difficult than putting up a design on a T-shirt and selling it off of Redbubble, for example. To what you said, and also creativity. It's fun, and it's also that's where the money is, right? Selling for example, a journal book is really difficult now. But if you put a spin on it with like a sad cat or something, and something there where it's cat journal book, you really niche down, then you have higher chances of earning, which again, to your point, cool stuff. And to that, that's one of the things that I really like about Easy Pub Profits. I want you to introduce it, but in a little bit, but the fact that you list a ton of different low competition keywords, things that us publishers should be looking out for, we should focus on. And I want you to explain some more, because it's not only the keywords. It's just a whole monthly report. It's just a wealth, a really powerful resource that we can all use and implement. Can you tell us a little bit more about Easy Pub Profits and how it was birthed? Like, how did that happen?
Sure. And I actually didn't start it. So it's about 2 years, maybe even 3 years old at this point. I started working with a KDP seller. His name's Fizz. He's very talented. He's a six-figure seller. He does really well. And he kind of took me under his wing and I learned basically what I know from KDP about him back in March of 2020 when I first started doing this. And then he had been running the guide for about a year, and I started working on it with him. And he eventually wanted to do, branch off into other things. And to be honest, he was making too much money selling books that he didn't want to buy the guide anymore. I still consult with him, but I have mostly taken it over at this point. But so what Easy Pub Profits is, sorry, that was a long-winded answer, but what it is, it's a monthly guide. It comes out on the first of every month. So the next one will be coming out in about a week. And it's just basically done for you keyword research. And that could mean a few things. It could mean if you're a newbie, like, where do I start? Here's some ideas. If you're someone that's been doing it for a while, it could be something you've never thought of before. Like, and I find doing research, I find new things all the time. I love doing keyword research. Like, let me give you an example.
Please.
The guide I'm working on right now comes out, like I said, next week. And it's all about, we work 2 months in advance. We feel that's a pretty good time frame. So it's all about niches that should be hitting in October. So obviously Halloween is huge, but there's a lot of other things in there. And one that I had never considered, but I think is a really interesting niche, is October 31st is also National Magic Day,
wow.
For magicians. And so I was doing some research, and an interesting one is like a trick log for magicians, or usually it's probably for kids. When kids get into magic, they get excited and they want to write down the tricks that they're learning. And that's not something I had ever thought of, but just by doing research. So we like to give things like that someone who's been doing it for a while, maybe they never thought of this niche before. So that's the basic idea.
That's some powerful stuff. And going back to what you said, that's a good problem to have. That Fizz, the guy who created Easy Pub Profits, that's a beautiful problem to have. And to your point, yeah, that makes sense. International or National Magic Day. I believe Houdini died on Halloween night. So
Exactly.
that makes perfect sense why. I mean, I imagine there must be a connection there. So yeah, guys, Kyle is giving up some really cool gems here. Barnes and Nobles has not a KDP type of thing going on where you can actually upload digital books and sell them off of their site. Also, look up National Magic Day and try to create books around that. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Kyle. This is a really good question, a little bit off topic. How do you deal with a bad review?
How do you deal with a bad review?
Yeah.
I don't believe in, it can be frustrating, especially if you get a bad review that doesn't have anything to do with your book. It's because Amazon printed it upside down or something like that. And in that case, you can actually reach out to customer support, and sometimes it can get taken care of. I think it's pretty low on their priorities list in terms of what their support tickets. But personally, I think there isn't a bad review. I think any reviews drive engagement personally. and some of my best-selling books, they're only maybe 3 stars. They're not. It means people are interacting with the book, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. So I just, unless it's something that's unrelated to the book, like Amazon printed it wrong or it was shipped incorrectly or something, then I'm happy that I got a review, to be honest. And I'll take the feedback if it's negative, and I'll apply it to try to make a better version in the future.
Definitely. You can always sharpen your book. You can always re-upload your interior. You can always re-upload your cover. So that's definitely a positive way to look at it, and a very helpful one, right? So, I mean, I'm sure once that hits you, once you open up your landing page and you see that negative review, it hits you negatively, but you should definitely take it and be encouraged by it, that people are interacting, people are, making use of the product you're selling, which is good stuff. This is an interesting question from my audience. Are you able to remove a title once it's published?
Remove? What do you mean, like the title of the book?
Yeah, change it around within Amazon, not the cover.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Unless you take the book down and then redo it, but I don't believe, once the title is there, I don't believe you can change the title. You can change other things.
Yeah, you can change. I believe the author, the sub, and the title you cannot change. Right. I was hoping maybe you have experience emailing Amazon and having it changed that way. I've never done that myself. Do you? No.
I think I've never done it myself, but I've heard. I know, for example, if there's a typo in your title that's obvious, I know people who have emailed Amazon and asked if they can change it, and I believe you can do that. Yeah, that's a resource that I think a lot of people. You can always email Amazon. They might not be as helpful as you'd like, but they do have customer support for people who do KDP. So if you're ever hitting a wall with something like that, you can find their customer support email and reach out to them.
That's powerful stuff, Kyle. That's true. I made a video recently about the look inside tab. Actually, you can, Amazon gives you an actual email template. As soon as you click within their contact us form, there's a little button says look inside tab. You click on it and there's a template given there. All you got to do is answer yes or no. You press send, and they should resolve the issue within 48 hours. Right. So maybe they have something like that for titles. I have to check. Cool.
But it's just related. While we're on that, a pro tip is you can email Amazon and request to get added to categories. If there's some categories that you think are relevant for your book, that's something you can do as well.
Okay, guys, email Amazon. Pro tip: email Amazon if you find there's a better category for your book. Really good stuff. This is a good question. How do you market or get traffic to your book outside of Amazon, if you do it at all?
That is something I've been getting into more recently, because I've been thinking of pen names more as brands and less as like an author name. And when you start to think of it that way, you really start to think about driving traffic to your listings from outside of Amazon. Plus, that's something that Amazon likes in terms of if you're driving traffic to your listing, you'll probably get a boost in organic rankings by doing that. So how do you do that? I've done a few. The easiest thing is just to do like a landing page. And this is the easiest if you have a pen name or you have several books, and usually they'll all be related to it. Like maybe you're doing something that I like to do is like gag books, joke books, that kind of thing. So maybe if you have several of those and you have a pen name, those are all under, you can have a landing page that has, it could just list the books, or I like to give something extra. So maybe there'll be a printable that you can get if you give your email or if you do something. But anyways, you can have a landing page there that can drive people to your listing.
Yeah, powerful stuff, guys. You should. And I agree 100%. You should have a bridge page where you can pre-sell to your audience. And if you can, take control of your traffic. Build that email list. If you're within a certain niche, like gag books, like Kyle is, then definitely take control of your traffic. There are people out there I've seen on Amazon where they have a QR code within the first page of their book, where if you scan the QR code, you're taken to a landing page, and this person has like you said, Kyle, earlier, like a branded author name, where they collect emails and they start sending traffic to their books as soon as they're published. You build up a following. Cool stuff. I've started doing that myself. I'm kind of all over the place with different niches, but you, Kyle, you're in the gag niche type
I
of.
mean, that's one that I like because I think it's fun to make those kind of books, and they sell relatively well for me. But it could work. For example, I know a lot of people that I know have a lot of success with series books. They'll do puzzle books or activity books or coloring books in a series. And
That
then
makes sense.
that's a powerful way. If someone likes the volume 1, you haven't released volume 2 yet, they're going to want to know when it comes out. So if they're on your mailing list, you let them know, hey, you bought this, volume 2 is coming out, check it out. So that can be a powerful thing to do.
That works. Cool. What are your recommended? This is a good one from my subs. What are the best niches that you recommend to start with if you're a newbie?
If you're a newbie, I think the best thing to do is just get some books out there, and the niche doesn't matter so much, so that you can learn to do it. Because I think what gets in a lot of people's way is getting something done is better than being perfect. Done is better than perfect, right? And
100%.
A lot of people get hung up on being perfect. So just get something up there in any niche, maybe 4 or 5 books, and then start to think about maybe the best niches for you. And I think it's different for everyone because it depends on your experience, what you know about what the research tells you, and what you enjoy doing. But the best thing to start is something with an easy interior, journals. But there's easy interiors that are less common. Like here's another one from the October. You may or may not know is also National Ergonomics Month.
I did not know that.
And there's actually ergonomically ruled paper. Some people like to tilt their notebooks at an angle when they write. And there's people that see this and they've actually designed ruled paper that instead of going straight across, it's at a 45-degree angle. So it's a really easy interior, but it's less common. There's less competition for something like that. It's really just straight lines, but now you're doing them at an angle. But there's a niche for that, and people are searching for angled, slanted ruled paper or something like that.
Kyle, I got to tell you, so far, when it comes to pro tips or like value, you're taking the cake from all my interviews. You're giving up pro tips every other 3 minutes or so, which is awesome. Good. Thank you very much. I'm sure people are going to appreciate that. I'm sure that people are going to watch this again and again because of it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. So we talked a little bit briefly about author names and how you can brand them and stuff. Do you recommend having one author name or several?
Several. Yeah, definitely.
Several depending on the category you're in, the niche, or like
so like I said before, I think since I think of the author names as a brand, what makes sense for that brand? So it could be like in gag books, that could cover a lot of things. It could be like joke books. It could be like coloring books that have a humorous slant. It could be all kinds of things. Or it could just be, it kind of depends on what you're going for. Maybe it's just you do coloring books, and there's a lot of people that have success in that. Or you just do, you could be really specific, but I think you definitely want to have several names for each niche, either each niche or each type of book that you're doing.
Got it. Several author names for the niche. Good stuff. How do you utilize 7 keyword slots? This is a question I get a lot. Of, and I've seen some folks having variants of the root keyword, which I'm against. I have people all over the place with somewhat loosely related keywords to the root keyword. Where do you stand there, sir?
I don't like to repeat any keywords. My idea is once it's there, Amazon knows it's there, and you're wasting space if you're repeating it. Probably not everyone agrees with that. There's a little bit more art than science here, and more testing and what has worked for you, and keep going with that. But I like to use all different keywords, and I kind of like to have a phrase that I have in mind, and then line my keywords up in the order of that phrase.
So the root keyword, like the pizza. Let's go back to the example: pizza coloring book. Pizza book coloring book for kids, pizza coloring book for kids 3 to 5, or like that, or
right. So I'll have pizza coloring book once, but then I might have kids 3 to 5. I'll have all those things afterwards in later keyword boxes. And I like to have them. I say this, but I don't really do this anymore. But when I started, I did this because it helped. But for each box, I like to have, I used to like to have the kinds of things that go in that box. Like this could be descriptors, inexpensive gift, birthday, whatever. And then this box might be who it's for, kids, adults, women, whatever. This box might be other like synonyms, like if it's a graphing paper, it might be graphing paper, I don't know, quarter inch grid paper, whatever, all those kinds of things. So each box, it helps you stay organized to do it that way.
No, that makes perfect sense. So you organized but freewheeling. You're pretty free with that. You're very creative with that. You don't.
I am because I like to fit as many keywords as I can. So sometimes if it doesn't fit, if the word grid paper doesn't fit in the synonyms box, but it'll fit in a previous box, and I'll squeeze it in there because I like to have it fit as many keywords as I can. So basically, I don't like to repeat keywords. I like to fit as many as I can, and I like to think just about what customers would be searching for.
Beautiful. Are you more of a low content guy, journals, logbooks, or a mid content guy, such as coloring books and puzzles?
I would say I'm more mid content. But my mid content, I do coloring books and puzzles, but I like to do things like joke books or stuff like that, or the kinds of things people would like to read on the toilet, like fact books.
Okay, yeah, trivia. I have two trivia books out there. Yeah.
There's a good one called Would You Rather books, and it's stuff that's fun for kids. I have kids, so I get a kick out of doing those kind of books. So for me, that's mid content. It actually takes a little bit more work because there's not really software like there is for puzzles. Coloring books can take a long time, but if I do those, I typically hire out to an illustrator. So it's actually, for me, it's not that much work. But I like doing those kinds of joke books and trivia books and that kind of thing. So that's more mid content.
Well, Kyle, that brings me to my next question. Would you rather have giant hands or giant feet?
I'm going to say giant hands because all the best basketball players ever have had giant hands. So maybe I'd be good at basketball.
Yeah, man, giant feet would be, I'm with you. Giant hands, giant feet, you'd be tripping all over the place. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go there. What percentage of your stable of books makes regular sales?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say for every 10 books, maybe, and this is good for newbies to know, for every 10 books, maybe half of them won't make any sales.
Okay.
Or very rarely they'll make sales. Maybe 3 of them or 2 or 3 of them will make sales every once in a while, and maybe only 2 of them will make regular sales. So maybe to answer your question, maybe 20% or something like that will make regular sales.
I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, with my experience, that's fair enough. Or better question here, how many pages, and I guess this is dependent on the type of book you're putting out. Let's say, for your example, with trivia books, Would You Rather books, how many pages are these types of books?
I like to keep it 100, 120, something in that range. Yeah. And that's actually pretty, and except for coloring books, that like 100 to 120 is pretty, that's pretty common.
120
for most types of books. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want to go too overboard because it's too heavy. And and going in that direction, with color, I'm asking here, with Would You Rather books and trivia books, to keep it at 6 by 9, and with color and books and puzzle books, to keep it at 8.5 by 11. We're talking about sizes.
Yeah, typically yes. I mean, there's certain niches where you'll change it, or like if I'm targeting a keyword like pocket-sized joke book, then I'll do a smaller size. But typically, yes. Okay,
cool. What's your pricing strategy for these types of books?
Oh, that's another good question. I'm to be honest, I'm still experimenting with that. I think a good place to start is just to look at where other books in your niche are priced. Well, you have to know that, and then once you know that, there's a few things you can do. You can try to just be at that average. You can try to be a little bit more than average, or you can try to be a little bit less than average. And I've heard people give reasons for all of those. For now, I typically stick in the middle. Sometimes I'll go higher, but I'm always testing. I'm always testing my pricing. Yeah.
Okay, so a good heuristic is seeing what other people are doing, but at the same time, be free flowing. You want to test around.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Do you use any software to create your books? Any type of software?
Yeah, do you mean for keyword research or for creating the book specifically?
Great question. Sorry, both. So let's go with keywords first.
Yeah, I mostly just use book bolts to do keyword research. That's mostly it. And then I use the Amazon search bar. There's some Chrome extensions. I use some free ones, mostly just the ones that fill out that give you search expanders. There's one by Self-Publishing Titans that's a search expander. Self-Publishing Titan also has a Chrome extension that gives you like a keyword score. I use that sometimes, but I don't really trust it necessarily.
No. I was talking to my last guest about this. My best-selling organic free traffic book has a terrible score on that. And not to say he's he or they or she or whatever is wrong with. I'm sure their filter works for them, but I just know for personal experience, my best-selling book has a horrible score on their filter, on their Chrome extension. So I don't know, but yeah, like you're saying before, you're a keyword junkie, and those expander type of Chrome extensions, they do. I mean, they're great, and especially if you can bulk copy them and put them on a notepad or something, which is beautiful for advertising. Which is something I want to get with you. I can't speak. I want to talk to you about. Okay. Do you do Amazon advertising? Amazon KDP advertising?
I do. Yeah, I do advertising. Yeah.
Do you have any recommended type of bidding? Are you a manual guy? Are you what's the other one? Are you what's the other one? Manual and
you can do manual, you can do automatic, and you can do
automatic. Product. Thank you. Yeah. Are you a manual or automatic guy? Because for me, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, automatic hasn't worked for me. For some reason, I think I'm doing it wrong. Manual is the cat's meow for me. I do very well with manual, especially with phrase match. But with automatic, in the initial stage where you're buying data and you want to net as many winner keywords as possible, it hasn't been. Basically, I've successfully predicted the keywords that were going to make money for me. More than the automatic has. So I don't know why. I think I'm doing it wrong. Please tell us your way, Kyle.
Well, when I started doing it, a strategy that Fizz had taught me, which was working, is to start with automatic, and like you said, that gives you data, and then that tells you what's working and what's not working, and then once you know that, you can just use what's working with manual. But what I found just in my own testing is sometimes. I don't know if Amazon's being lazy, but sometimes the automatic, they're just not, the keywords that they automatically want to put in there just aren't relevant at all, I've noticed. So like you said, maybe we just have a better feel for what's going to work. So I like to do manual now. And actually, I've been getting more into product advertising. And I don't know if that's a type that you've done.
I have not. Please take it away, Kyle. I want to learn more about this.
Yeah, so that's another. So instead of choosing the keyword that you want to show up for, you can choose a product that you want to show up next to. And this is a strategy that's been working for me because a lot of times you do competitive research. And what I like to do is find a book that's doing well, but maybe has some negative reviews and someone's complaining about something about the book. I can give you an example that came up in our Facebook group recently.
Please do.
It was for chess scoring log. And someone emailed me about this recently, so it's top of my mind. But there's a really good one. It's not a KDP book, but it's a really nice chess scoring log. And it has all 5-star reviews. There's one 3-star review, and the person is complaining there's only space for 60 moves. And sometimes that's not enough moves for my son's chess games. So this book won't work for me.
I read that.
Automatically, just make a chess book that has more than 60 moves.
That's right.
And then you do product advertising, and you could do your product advertising next to that book, that the one that you think you made a better version of. And that's I've had some success with doing that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah. Actually, I read that case study within the July's version of Easy Pubs.
Right.
Again, if you're interested, I have information down below. And yeah, exactly that. And you found within the keywords you have there, I saw some chess, not logbook, scorecards for 100 pages. I mean, for 100 games, I should say.
Right.
Good stuff. Thank you. Okay. So manual, you're about manual these days, and for product placement or placement
Right.
within a product that's similar to yours. Which out of the two recently has been more successful for you?
Recently, product, just because I've been focusing on it. It was kind of new for me, so I've been putting a lot of work into it. So I can't say that it's better overall, but it might just be better because I'm putting work into it. But they both work. They both can work. Yeah.
Okay. After today, I'm going to start doing product. I'm going to play with product, I should say.
Yeah.
You're the second person to talk about this, so I have to jump in. I'm a follower, it seems. Anyways, okay.
Well, I only started because I heard someone else talk about it, right? So that's how it works.
Okay, we're all lemons. Okay, jumping off the cliff. Okay, here we go. This is a question I have to ask because, well, I get a lot of repeats on this. I don't like this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is KDP a numbers game?
I mean, yes and no. I like to think of it as a timeline game. So there's one strategy where it's quantity over quality. It's just journals with as many different covers as you can think of for trending. You just put a trending, phrase on the cover of your journal. You pump out a bunch of them. That's the quantity game, right? And that can work, but it's not going to work long term. It'll work for a little bit. That's why I think of it as a timeline thing. If you the more work you put into a book, the longer it's going to sell. If it does sell, you can put a lot of work into a book and it'll never sell. But the ones that you get that sell, and if you put a lot of work in, it's going to be hard for someone else to duplicate that. So it's a longer term investment. That's the way I think of it.
Kyle, thank you for just repeating what every other guest I've had on has said. Exactly that. What I also agree with, quality over quantity. This is a question I get asked every single time I tell my audience that I'm going to have a guest who's successful with Amazon KDP, and it always crops up there. I got to ask it, but there you go. Thank you very much for your honest answer there. Let me see here. Okay, one more question, and this is a question I like to ask. A very, very broad question. What, senor, is the secret to KDP success, Amazon KDP success?
What is my secret?
Yeah, the secret sauce. Excuse me. What are the elements you need in place to start earning passively online with Amazon KDP, in your opinion?
In my opinion,
yes, sir.
I would say there's one thing I'd say there's two things for me that have worked. And of course, this because it's worked for me doesn't mean that it will work or for everyone or that it's the best. But so one of them is solve someone's problem. And I think this, not just KDP, this is business at all, online business. If you solve someone's problem, then they're going to want the product you're providing. So the example that I gave, looking at negative reviews for the chess scoring log, that guy had a problem. This book doesn't have enough moves for my son's games. So if you solve that guy's problem, he's going to want to buy your book. So that's my first piece of advice. Solve someone's problem. The second one that's more KDP specific is custom interiors. So not, you can start with journals and that kind of thing, but the more you customize your interior, the more unique it is, and just the more staying power it will have. So that'd be my two pieces of advice. Solve someone's problem, and if you can do it with a really custom interior, then you're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, and also let your cover, it's just a little add-on there. Let your cover talk about how cool your interior is, how different your interior is, right? Your cover is so important, as you know. It's your thumbnail, it's your advertisement, it's the attraction game, and so is your description. I guess all of those pieces are important. But yeah, right. Is there any? I'm sorry, I said it was going to be one more question, but I have to. I need your opinion about this. What's your opinion on book covers? How should you approach it? And descriptions, how should you approach that as well?
Yes, I spend a lot more time on descriptions probably than most people, mostly because when I do competitive research, I see it as an easy win, because a lot of people don't spend time on descriptions. They'll just they'll have the same description that they'll use for all the books they put up, and it's generic. I like to copyright my descriptions and make them more interesting. For covers, I know how important they are, but it's hard to give general advice. Yeah, they're definitely important. It's the first thing that you see, but it's hard to know. you just have to try things and see what works.
Do you do it yourself, or do you also hire out?
I've done it myself. I like to hire out because I am a kind of a perfectionist and I'll spend more time than it's worth. So if I hire it out, they'll do a better job. It's a better, yeah. So I like to hire out my covers. Yeah, I like to do the descriptions myself. I like to hire out the covers.
Kyle, thank you very much for answering all of these selfish questions of mine. I wanted to ask you so much. Is there any like social media that you're really active on? Like, I don't know, YouTube. Do you have a YouTube channel? And if not, it's criminal. Why don't you have a YouTube channel?
No, I'm not. No, I like doing the guide. I'm a behind the scenes kind of guy. I'll come and talk, to people that I like that are doing good work. But no, I don't have a YouTube channel. Just go to easypubprofits.com or check out the guide. We might make, right now the website is mostly just a landing page that talks about the guide. We might build out a website that's more of a resource, take some of the stuff that's in the guide and make it available for free online. I don't want to say we're definitely going to do that, but I would like to do that.
Okay, possible plans for the future. But like you heard it here first. Kyle Stevens is a behind the scenes type of guy. He likes to be he likes to do his thing on KDP, and he's very genuine, authentic, a pleasure to have. And right now has set the bar when it comes to pro tips and actual value. I highly urge you to rewatch this again. And if you want to learn more about easy, I can't speak today for some reason, I don't know why. If you want to learn more about Easy Pub Profits, check out the link information below. I have custom bonuses for you and all that good stuff. Kyle Stevens, thank you very much, sir. You've been a great, amazing guest.
Thank you, Ike.
Thank you.